All right, everybody. So today we're talking about esports for the first time, and you know what? We're talking about the best esport for new viewers. Now, when I started making this PowerPoint suggested I have this very cool graphic of a football guy catching a ball. So you know what? We'll stare at that for a little bit, and then we'll get started. And it freezes every time I click elsewhere. It's very, very cool like that. Very cool. What I want to talk about today is the best esport for new viewers, because you know what? Esports are pretty sick, but you gotta find some new people to watch them, because the people who like esports, I have found, are very, very dedicated, and they will watch for like ever. But you gotta hook new people somehow, and I think that is the biggest problem. Looking at esports, we gotta compare it to its forefather, its predecessor, real sports. I found this hilarious graphic while I was looking up esports versus sports. Altuve just getting sniped. Real sports has a lot more viewers than esports. Frankly, also, I need to hide my camera so you can see the insane amount of people that watch the Tour de France. What the hell? 3.5 billion? 3.5 billion people watch the Tour de France? Are you kidding me? What? Who watches the Tour de France? I frankly don't believe it. The Soccer World Cup is what I thought would be number one at 3.3 billion, but somehow Tour de France wins at 3.5 billion. And, those are huge numbers, and esports does not have that amount of number. The goal is to get eventually some market share of those viewers. I looked this up on like esportswatch.com or whatever. I've never heard of Free Fire, the number one thing that has had 5 million viewers at some point. Never heard of it. It's like a mobile shooter. So I'm mainly going to be concerning myself with the PC game peak viewers. Although the numbers are increasing, not even a dent into what real sports is. So there's lots of room to grow, and ideally the goal for esports is to be nearly as big as sports. I think eventually it could achieve that, but there's something that esports lacks that sports just has built in already. So something that esports is missing that is in sports is simplicity. Look at this photo. What is trying to happen? Guy in the red shirt is kicking a ball toward the guy in the yellow shirt who's defending the net behind him. That's very simple for anyone to understand. And here for football, we got the guy in white trying to catch a ball, guy in red trying to prevent it from happening. Even if you don't understand sports and you never watch sports, sports are very easy to comprehend just by watching 5 minutes. You immediately know who the teams are. They got two different jerseys on. You immediately know what the goal is, trying to get the ball in the net, catch the ball, get the ball in the end zone. Very simple. Also, I don't need to explain to you a cool play. Everyone knows that this is sick. Every human on Earth sees this photo and is like, holy shit, that's a dope catch. You know when something cool happens. It's not that hard to explain. In comparison, this could be the dopest, the sickest StarCraft 1 battle of all time. But it would take like you and two buddies who love StarCraft to break it down frame by frame. And just by this still image, you're like, what the hell's going on? We got shit all over the place. Whereas this, we got two guys, we got a ball in the air, and we got a guy catching it with one hand. Everybody knows that that is cool. And that's what makes sports very enticing to new viewers, because it's not that hard to understand as a viewer what's going on. Starting with StarCraft 1, I want to break down in descending complexity to what I think is the best esport for new viewers. So I do think StarCraft, although is my favorite esport, or tied to be my favorite esport, it is one of the least, if not the most, daunting for new viewers. This is StarCraft 2. Here's a clip from an actual professional match. If you've never seen a game before, you're like, what is happening? StarCraft 2 and StarCraft Brood War together, although probably one of the best esports as a whole, is the least accessible to a new viewer. There's so many things to digest, so many things to learn. All right, we got the red versus the blue. We got all these number counters going on the bottom. In StarCraft, you're controlling every single unit, which makes it really complicated. You will also see that these guys are playing at 300 to 500 APM, which is actions per minute. I don't think I could just spam 500 actions per minute just clicking keys for the hell of it. So Maru kind of comes on in here while blue extends out to kind of kill off a couple things, backs up, but at the same time he's using a pincer move going on the left side and lower left corner. You can see the mini map. So he's attacking at two places at once at the exact same time, pulling out from the left, and he'll probably send in on the right on a drop. Look at me, I'm so good.
Big drop into the main base now from Maru. Hero out of position, does a recall as well as a warp in.
To a new
Yeah, he
viewer,
overcharges
you
that
have
way,
no
showing
idea what's
exactly how
going
to
on.
use.
So after StarCraft 2 in how inaccessible it is to a new viewer, I have chosen Dota 2. New viewers signing on for the first time. I see, red versus green. Just like StarCraft, it's hard to tell immediately what the goal is. For soccer, football, basketball, baseball, it's apparent what's trying to be done. If I'm a new viewer and I see this guy's health bar going down, I'm like, okay, he died, but the game didn't end. A little confusing. There's a lot of things, a lot of graphs and numbers, cameras flying around from hero to hero. To a new viewer who doesn't understand the most basic characteristics and play styles, you can't just show them this and be like, oh, look at this. Whereas the Odell Beckham catch I showed earlier, everyone knows that's cool. So after Dota, in terms of complexity for a new viewer, we have League of Legends. Although very similar to Dota and essentially of the same class, somehow I think League of Legends makes a little more sense. I think the competitive league tournaments have a better display, like commentaries setup than Dota does, so I'm going to give League the edge. That League is a little more accessible to a new viewer than Dota. After League, I have decided to choose my favorite esport. After looking at the last 3 games, Super Smash Bros. Melee, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, I've just chosen Melee as our focal point for all of Smash. Super Smash Bros. Is extremely accessible to a new viewer. You can just tell the orange fox is trying to get back to the middle of the map. You can clearly tell that they're trying to get rid of each other's lives. How are they hurting each other and what moves they're using? You don't really understand that. But the goal for the first time is apparent. Knock the other guy off. And that's why Melee I have chosen to be my first esport that is accessible to a new viewer. They just have to knock the other guy off. That is the entire idea. You can grasp it within 20 seconds. Compared to League, StarCraft, we can be here all day. Although Melee I think is the first accessible viewer experience I have shown in comparison to Dota, League, StarCraft, it's still not as easy to understand as a shooter. Everybody on planet Earth knows that getting shot is bad. So I think CSGO is even more accessible than Melee in fighting games because we all understand getting shot is bad. One, two. Like a new viewer would understand that he almost clutched that out. He killed 2 guys. He almost had the last one. I think FPSs are the second most accessible esport to a new viewer. The most accessible esport to a new viewer is Rocket League. Why? Because it's just soccer. It is literally just soccer, but you have a car. That is it. Rocket League is by far and away the most accessible esport. First of all, soccer is the most watched sporting event on the planet other than the Tour de France. People who love soccer understand passing plays, shooting, where you want to even shoot in the net. Any soccer fan could tell you, well, the blue guy two-piece is blocking that left half of the net. This red car needs to hit it in the upper right 90. And they could know nothing about this, and they know that already. Because like if you're a kid and you're watching an esport, let's say you're watching StarCraft, someone's like, oh, what are you watching? I'm watching StarCraft. Oh, what's that about? How do you even explain StarCraft in a single sentence? If someone comes in and sees you watching Rocket League, like, oh, what are you watching? Oh, it's Rocket League. It's pretty much car soccer. Is all you have to say. People know immediately. Or soccer with cars that can fly. Rocket cars. Look at that. That's all they need to know. Like these players are doing some insane aerials. Like, as someone who plays Rocket League, I mean, I can't do what they're doing, and I can appreciate that. But anybody can understand that two-piece on the blue team was able to score on the orange goal. Anybody gets that. And that's what makes Rocket League the most accessible esport of all time. I don't think it'll ever be beat in terms of accessibility. It's not winning on total numbers, and I don't think it ever will. But it'll always be able to get new people to watch. And I think that's awesome. That's going to conclude my little presentation about esports and, what's the easiest to watch for a new person. The end result is Rocket League. It's just soccer car. It's sick. It's colorful. It's a lot of fun. Cars look cool. The commentators are great because they can kind of say similar things to soccer commentators. And Rocket League is in a lot of cool things with its viewing experience, with its color scheme. And so thank you for sticking around and tuning in. to this video about which is the most accessible esport for new viewers. I believe it's Rocket League. You can let me know what you think down below. If you stuck around this long, please like, subscribe, and favorite the video, and I'll see you on the next one.